Hello humans, this is best. Well, not just humans, if you're not a human, that's okay too. Hello things watching this video, welcome back to our Jurassic World Evolution mod spotlight series. We have a very tiny, sorry about the noise, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dinosaurs slash non-dinosaurs to look at today, but some of them are really cool, and I figured with a slightly smaller amount we can give each one a little bit more attention. As per usual, if you want to download any of these, they are all linked down below in the new species mod list, which is getting incredibly unwieldy at this point in time, because as you can see, we are up to 184 total species. We are 16 away from the 200 mark. It wasn't that long ago where I made a video celebrating the 100 mark, so this is utter nonsense. Let's get started. Right, first on our list is Wintono Titan by Lemo0307. Finally, we're getting a few more sauropods in, and this is a really cool one. This is an Australian dinosaur as well. Again, Australia is having a little bit of a resurgence lately in the paleo modding community, so well done Australia, I'm sure they're thrilled about that. And this sauropod comes from the Winton formation in Queensland, hence the name, I guess, Wintono, Winton. So maybe it's Wintono Titan. That's stupid. Yeah, I really like this. It's interesting because it's a sauropod that actually looks different than the other sauropods in the game. There's a lot of sauropod mods out there because sauropods do largely look fairly similar. You can mix it up with, say, an Amargasaurus, but lots of sauropods still look the same. But the head shape in particular on this one is very different than all the ones we've kind of had in the past. I think it actually really stands out. It's pretty cool, nice, chill skin, nothing too wild and out there, but blends in very nicely. Maybe a little bit more cleaning up on the head. Ooh, calm down, buddy. It's very angry. Cleaning up on the head a little bit, and this could easily be a frontier sauropod. It is based on the Carnotaurus, of course, but yeah, really cool. Put this in a exhibit with an Australopithecus, and you've got a pretty cool Australian vibing exhibit, which I really like as an idea. Next up on our list is Hypsilophadon, made by... I don't know, I didn't write it down. I always write down the author, and this is the only one I haven't written it down for. I'll be back in a sec. This was made by Netraptor, as were about half the dinosaurs on this bloody list today. Discovered 170 years ago, Hypsilophadon on, by the way, the Isle of Wight. Blighty, represent good old Blighty, Britain, by the way. I was just thinking as I read that, 170 years ago, that was the forefront of, dinosaur fossil digging for the first place. Imagine how exciting that must have been at the time. Not that fossil hunting isn't always changing and super exciting now, but to be at the very forefront where these creatures were first being discovered is very cool. Can you hop out the water for a sec, mate? Thanks. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in for a sec. There's something I want to point out on this little Hypsilophadon, and that is over here. So there we go. Lovely looking dinosaur. Really like the skin coloration and everything like that. Very simple, but strong and classic, and really great looking dinosaur. It's got that sharp, pointed beak you would expect from a Hypsilophadon, and it's also got this here, this kind of splayed out, bony ridge around the eye. Now this is what's called a sclerotic ring, and it's basically a series of bone plates around the eye. And I think the idea is that it would have, essentially, these would have joined into that area, and it would have supported the eye to stop it falling out, I guess, or something, but it would have supported the eye and made it a little bit more stable, and it's really nice that that detail's been modded, because that is one of the more well-known details, I would say, for Hypsilophadon. Okay, following on from that, we have Moklodon, also made by Netraptor, this time made into a new species by Gonzalo GM87. I think one of the reasons we're getting so many new species from Netraptor is they had tons of species already made, and now they're being made into new species, rather than Netraptor spending 24 hours a day making new dinosaurs, but you never know. So this is a Austrian Cretaceous Rhabdodont, I always butcher that. And these are basically ornithopods with sort of spade-shaped teeth, along with a bunch of other characteristics. Now, this little guy was originally labelled as an iguanodon species, like a new species of an iguanodon, but he was obviously reclassified. This guy, and there's another dinosaur called Struthiosaurus, are still the only two dinosaurs on the planet named for, like, Austrian finds. There's a lack of Austrian dinosaurs. Maybe that's a... Now, I will say, the model on this guy is fantastic. He's really cute, he's adorable, he's really well made, Very similar to the Hypsilophadon, I've only just noticed. It's got that sclerotic ring again, and it's got the curved beak. The skin's a little bit wild. I know for a fact that NetRaptor is planning to make a new skin for this guy. There's nothing wrong with brightly coloured skins, but this one maybe looks like it, you know, it took a dip in some radioactive fluid, for example. Also, how great is that? I just want to point this out. How awesome that Avaceratops looks right there, just lying on that sand. Anyway, still very cool. Nice Austrian dinosaur. We actually found a new one in Hungary just in the last decade because, you know what, paleontology is cool and it keeps updating. Moving on, we only have one larger carnivore this time. It's a new Mapusaurus. There has been one around on Nexus for a while. This is Mapusaurus Rosé by Tony Games, and it is beautiful. Now this is a Carcharodontosaurid from Argentina and Chile, and that's how you pronounce Chile, I believe. Only discovered at the turn of the millennium, which is interesting because Mapusaurus is fairly well known, I think, but it's quite new as a dinosaur. And fun fact, or fact, I guess. I say it's a fun fact. Mapusaurus was discovered in a bone bed with... It looks great, doesn't it? I love this skin. I've got to say, Tony Games does some fantastic models. His skins aren't always the best. Sorry, Tony, don't hurt me. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. It's brighter. I can see everything. You know, usually the skins are a little dark. This one, everything is clear and visible and looks cool. Again, looks like it's been to a Kiss concert. I feel like I say this every single video now. But that's totally okay. And it does look pretty cool. But Mapusaurus was found in a bone bed with lots of other Mapusauruses. Now, people assume this was what's called a predator trap, which is basically, imagine like a tar pit, or just a pit, or some quicksand or something, and a predator would get trapped in there, right? And then other predators would see that predator trapped and come along to eat it, and then they themselves would get trapped. So basically, if there's like 7 or 8 Mapusauruses in this pit, the idea is that one after another, like lemmings, they just came in to eat each other and they all got trapped and died. However, some people are suggesting it was also results of... Are the feet different colours? No. It was also a result of a sort of coordinated hunting thing, or a non-coordinated horde of Mapusauruses hunting something down, which is a pretty cool idea. Right, over here in our hybrids, we have our first hybrid of today. This is Tyrannosaurus Spinosaurus. This is by Ziffy Gaming with help from Max Lay. This has been... If you've been on the Jurassic World Evolution modding Discord, you've heard about this guy for about 3 months now. It's been in development for a long ass time. And there were problems, and Ziffy's made many mods since, some great ones like the Australian ones I mentioned earlier. But Tyrannosaurus Spinosaurus has finally made it into the game, and it is what you would expect from a Tyrannosaurus Spinosaurus hybrid. Well, it is that. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex Spinosaurus hybrid. I really like the skin patterning. Again, like the lines are like a little strong and stuff like that, which is quite a common thing I think with modders. But the black and orange coloration is really cool. It kind of looks like an inverse tiger, which is pretty awesome. If I had one minor complaint, and it's something a lot of people do with hybrid dinosaurs, is that it kind of looks like a T-Rex with a Spinosaurus sail sort of stuck onto it. And this is a very common thing people do with hybrid dinosaurs. I think it needs a little bit more folded in there, but I think the snout's been elongated as well. Obviously, we have this kind of pulling out of the tail as well, where it's getting close to that kind of paddle tail that the Spinosaurus would have had. It's definitely an interesting looking hybrid. I quite like it, yeah. I'd like to see more changes, maybe make the snout a little bit more Spinosaurus-esque, even more than it already is, but yeah, not bad, Ziffy, not bad. Next up on our list, now this is an important one, this is Carnotaurus Monstrum. I was hesitant to include this. This is by Harlequin's Ego, by the way, I should mention. I was hesitant to include this because it's kind of a jokey mod in a way, because it is a theropod great white shark hybrid. So, you know, I'm hesitant to put it in here because I do tend to avoid the jokey mods. But it's very cool, and there is a specific reason I'm including this. So other than its general awesomeness, I mean, look at it, it's a beast. It looks fantastic, it really does. Funnily enough, we had a shark theropod hybrid it's huge as well. We had a shark bloody Nora. We had a shark theropod hybrid a long time ago, but this is definitely a step up, it must be said. The interesting thing about this is not only is this like really awesome looking and unique and blah blah blah, but it's actually a breakthrough in terms of modding, and I'll very quickly I'll try to explain this as layman as possible because that's how I would understand it. So basically, over the last week or two, the ability to edit rigs in Jurassic World Evolution has been discovered, basically. And a rig is basically the skeletons that make, like, under here there's a series of joints all connected together, and that's what an animator will animate to make a dinosaur animate, right? So the ability to edit that skeleton has been discovered in the past week or two. Now, that doesn't mean custom animations or anything, that's still... Oh yeah, that's still probably like a long way away, but I believe this is the first dinosaur ever to have a edited rig, and I think, and I could be entirely wrong here, I think it's the mouth. I think it's the jaw and the way it hangs open but yet still moves normally with the rest of the body. I'm not sure. It's definitely not, you know, something immensely noticeable to me right now, but I know that being able to edit the rigging is going to make huge differences to the modding community going forward as people get more and more comfortable with it. It is actually quite a big breakthrough, and we'll see it in the quality of mods hopefully in the next couple of months or so. So shout out again to Holocron's Ego and everyone else working on the Jurassic World Evolution modding tools, Hendrix, etc. Cobra tools they're called. Really excited to see where this goes, and it is pretty freaking cool. Right, and with all that done, we have some small carnivores finally, because we didn't get any last time. This is Aelia Ramus by NetRaptor. I'm just going to save some time. The next 3 are all by NetRaptor, with help from, god damn it, Kinda Creativitat. I'm not going to try to pronounce that correctly. We're done. So, this is our Aelia Ramus, a Asian Tyrannosaurid. Interestingly enough, probably smaller than, you know, as you can see, smaller than like the Tarbosaurus and other Asian Tyrannosaurid, but we do only have young specimens, so we're not quite sure at this point in time, and we only have very fragmentary remains, so the actual placement of Aelia Ramus is going to be heavily debated, and that's something that comes up quite a lot in the next few dinosaurs as well. It looks really cool, really like the skin colouring, you know, this is, I always like when people do this, when you try to keep it fairly chill for most of the dinosaur, you know, fairly normal and, well, what you would imagine natural coloration, but then there's like a spark of colour somewhere, and this one kind of dropping down over the top of the head, it looks fantastic. I would have maybe liked to see the brown come down across the thighs a little bit, but those are big thighs. But beyond that, yeah, it's a fantastic looking dinosaur. It really is. Snapping, snipping around. Of course, Herrerasaurus base, because who doesn't love a Herrerasaurus base? The next 2 might also be. We'll find out. Next up is Fukui. I think that's how you pronounce it, Fukui. I'm very careful with this one. Fukui Venator by the same people. Another Japanese dinosaur, a Coelurosaurian. Bloody Nora. And this one kind of didn't go in the same direction. It just went a little bit mad with the coloration, but it is smaller and skinnier, and I naturally associate brighter colours with smaller creatures and smaller dinosaurs. I actually really like this one, actually, the more I look at it. I'm not sure about the combination of teal and orange in the coloration, but I actually quite like that bright orange skin. It looks a little bit like a bongo, which is cool. Bongos are cool. Look at it, it's adorable. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Interestingly enough, this is yet another theropod that could well turn out to be herbivorous, or if not, at least omnivorous, which is, I think, quite a trend at the moment with theropods in particular, not even just theropods, but all dinosaurs in general. I mean, we're discovering more and more that even our own animals that we associate as being herbivores are not herbivores. They're what you call like an obligate carnivore, or an obligate herbivore, which means they'll eat the other if they have to. And the fact is, a lot of dinosaurs were probably quite similar to that. At least ones, the smaller theropods and stuff like that, may well have eaten herbivorous material. It's really interesting. From the exact same prefecture in Japan, we have Fukui Raptor. And again, same people, NetRaptor and... no. This is a Megaraptoran, or an Allosaurid, or a Tyrannosaurid. Nobody can make their bloody mind up, basically. I don't know what to add on that. Nobody knows. It's interesting just how, like, a lot of the discovery for dinosaurs is going to come on set classification more than actually discovery of new species, which still happens all the bloody time. But, you know, we're still trying to place so many of these dinosaurs accurately, even ones that people know really well. But yeah, interesting that these would have lived together. You can make like a little Japanese prefecture, well, the Fukui. God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's what Wikipedia said. You can make a little Japanese-themed exhibit with these two darting around. Maybe bring some others in if there is any. Nice little skin, very, chill, just regular old, good-looking dino. Chuck it in there. Finally, for our small carnivores, we have Lillians Sternus by JWS 51203. And this is a basil dinosaur. Love my basils. I had a little basil joke about snap back to the basils, because there's always basils, but it's not a good joke, so I'm going to ignore that. So another Triassic dinosaur today, of course, like a lot of basal dinosaurs. This is a basal theropod hailing from Germany. Now, actual fun fact, this is, by the way, a fantastic skin. I think this was JWS's like first mod or something, and it looks really good. I'm really a big fan. I love that long, skinny, sweeping tail. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes on the head, and the skin is really interesting. Again, I'm not sure about the teal. I feel like people have bad taste in coloration. But other than that, it looks really, really good. This kind of harsh delineation between the... I keep using delineation in the wrong way. Between the neck and the body. Maybe I have that going down there. I don't know. I need to stop criticizing. But I like to offer my terrible opinions. Anyways, interesting fact about Lillians Sternus is that this dinosaur is actually on the coat of arms of a place called Bedheim, which is a subdivision of a former municipality, I can't speak English today, in Germany. I would provide more information on all of that and what that means, but the Wikipedia page on Bedheim and the municipality are immensely confusing for someone who doesn't live in Germany, so we're going to ignore that. Right, our last creature for today, if we head up the hill, this is the... yeah, this is something a little bit special. This is Hexacopteryx by Joshua, with some help, I think, again, making it... oh, when it runs by Max Lay. It's a pterosaur, one of the largest pterosaurs to ever exist, with a wingspan, look at it go, with a wingspan of up to 39 feet, which is utter frickin' nonsense, it really is. And... okay, so it looks a little bizarre, but this being created is always a wonder. Like, I really appreciate Joshua, otherwise known as Petito777, but they go by Joshua usually, so I use that. No matter what it looks like in the end, they do such good work of bringing just unique creatures to the game that, no one else is really trying to do. I really appreciate that. The results are sometimes a little bit funky looking, but you know what? This is probably not that far from reality. So, fun facts about Hexacopteryx. So, like others in its family, this is a series of pterosaurs called Atstarchidae. How would you pronounce it? ACH? Ats? What? Atstarchidae, anyways. Hatsa was a ground-born predator. It didn't fly around hunting things. It probably was primarily a terrestrial predator, just like we're seeing here. So you might be saying, okay, why can't we have pterosaurs flying around in the aviary or something? But this is literally what Hexacopteryx would have actually done. It was far larger than every other terrestrial predator in the area. So, oddly enough, this pterosaur, this flying creature, was probably the apex terrestrial creature in its area, where, I can't remember the actual name, it's like Hatsa, it's like an island group in Romania or something. In that area, Hatsa was the big terrestrial predator, which is really interesting. It would have eaten other dinosaurs, not other dinosaurs, it's not a dinosaur, but it would have eaten dinosaurs like Zalmoxis, we featured a video or two ago. Imagine this thing, 39 feet wingspan, barreling, running, charging down at you across the plains. It would have been absolutely terrifying. It was an absolute giant and would have dominated its landscape. It's really, really interesting. And, yeah, terrifying for sure. So big shout out to Petito777, i.e. Joshua, for that. So that is about it for today, folks. Yeah, lots of really interesting stuff. Nice to be able to focus on a few less creatures this time, but give a little bit more detail about them and their originations, and hopefully people enjoy that as well. Fun fact... third fun fact of today, I have decided to start learning Blender myself. I've only 30 hours of practicing. I started a few days ago because the modding community for this game is so incredible. And if Jurassic World Evolution 2 is ever a thing, and obviously Planet Zoo is still a thing, and the modding community will inevitably be incredible for those and for Prehistoric Kingdom, I'd really like to be able to join in myself. Now, I have a long way to go. I've never really done any 3D modelling, so I'm learning Blender for the very first time. But maybe one day in the future, maybe in a very long time, you will see a mod from me on one of these channels. That would be cool. But that is a long way away. Just thought that was a fun fact. Fun facts. And if you want to see my Blender progress, I should mention I have a Discord channel. It's linked in the description of this video down below. And I have a specific channel on my Discord where I'm posting basically everything I ever make in Blender. So you should hopefully see my progress across time. Okay, I'll stop talking about myself now. Big shout out to all these mod makers as usual. Go download the mods, endorse them, give them lots and lots of love. The fact that we have so many new dinosaurs is a testament to how fantastic this community really is. And I cannot wait for us to hit that 200 mark. Can't wait for more weird stuff. Can't wait to see how these rig changes make a big difference. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.